All right, so how I start getting my ribbon prepared. So I have already cut out my strips. I have already attached this here piece. So basically I'm going to connect them the same way I would if I was doing like an all over 3D shirt using a small heat press and printer. So I'm going to cut this here off to where I see no white at the top. I'm going to put a piece of, let me trim this here down just a bit. I do not want to cut all of it off. I just want to make sure I trim it. I'm using some 1-inch wide clear transparent tape that I am going to put at the bottom of that to kind of hold and connect it. So I'm gonna flip it over, and you want the sticky side facing outward. So this is the sticky side. This is the side you're gonna attach your other strip to. And kind of line it up. Okay. In total, I have about 6 strips. And each strip is about 18 inches long. And about 1.18 inch wide. So now what I'm going to do is I do have some large craft paper. Being that I have a 16 by 20 inch heat press. So I have some large craft paper, and what I'm going to do is lay my image on the paper. Make sure it's straight. Okay, so now I'm going to cut where it ends, but before I move and cut the paper, I am going to try to just add some adhesive to the back. To kind of hold it down on here. So instead of actually cutting the image, what you want to do is you want to cut the paper. And then you just want to add on to it. I already have a piece here pre-cut. I'm just going to spray some on the ends and connect to where I'm finished. Start connecting it. All right, so this here is some Satin self-adhesive spray. Once this goes under the heat, it automatically releases. I've been using this for a while, so I feel comfortable with knowing that. I don't know, maybe I better not talk too soon, but I haven't had any problems with it yet under the heat press. So now what I want to do is apply my ribbon. And I'm going to take this here piece, and I'm going to be kind of spraying my ribbon with it. If you you have to pay close attention to your ribbon, because some ribbon will come single-sided, a single face, or double-sided, which was also would be double-faced ribbon. So double-faced ribbon means you would be able to print. It has polyester smooth side on the front and back. Single face is when you have that rough look on the back. So that's what be the difference between single face, double face. So I'm spraying on the double face part, because this is the part I'm going to be laying on top of the ribbon. All right, so I'm just going to go in a little bit at a time. I'm going to let this sit here for a minute. And the double face side where you just sprayed will be going on top. You want to make sure that you line it in the center. All right, move that forward. And the only reason why I'm using this brown craft paper now is because this glue will leave a stickiness on your surface. So, but if you find that to happen, just wipe it up with something. It should come right off. Remember, this is it's deactivated with the heat, and if that surface is not going to be exposed to heat a lot, it's probably going to be on there for a minute. So this is why I'm just using this here craft paper to kind of spray on top. All right, so let's go over to the heat press and let me show you how I press it. All right, y'all, so I am over to my heat press, and when I tell you it's nothing fancy at all, like, so I don't have a $1 million studio, but I have something that will work and show you how to do it. Listen, I've been crafting for a while, so you need to be very careful, especially if your dinosaur heat press is like mine and it don't swing away like you would wish it could. So when you're putting your items underneath, just be very careful and aware that this plate there is very hot, and right now is at 400 degrees. So you will get a very bad burn when touching this. Okay, so be very careful. So I'm going to start off with this here part. All right, so basically, and when I'm doing this, I am going to put some tape, of course. So let me grab my tape. All right, so I don't even know what my tape dispenser is at this point, but we're going to let it do what it do. We're going to make this here work regardless of what supplies and equipment we have and don't have. We're going to make this work like we're $1 million corporation, all right? So, like I say, fake it till you make it. I'm going to put one right here. Try not to burn myself. And I am going to cover it. All right, I made these strips at 18 inches long, because my heat press is 20 inches long. But I want to make sure that, you know, sometimes you do have some areas, especially at the top and the bottom, well, with mine, because it's so old, that you may miss, you know, it may not warm up completely to the top and bottom. So that's why I try not to do any designs to where I have to do a whole 20 inch. So this is why I made this at 18 inch. I'm going to cut off some paper while that's, I'm going to cut off some tape while that's going. And this is heat resistant tape, okay? Can't use any kind of tape. This is heat resistance tape. And I don't think I'm gonna let it go for I don't think I'm gonna let it do the whole 60 seconds. I'm gonna stop it at 45. And you see how that heat released? All right, And another thing when doing this, technically I'm supposed to flip this here image over, because you're always supposed to press on the side of the image. But if you can tell, I did it backwards, and look how it came out. No problem. So I am doing this ribbon face down. All right, so this is one of those exceptions. Now what you don't want to do, and I may have to, just so that I don't lose my placement, what I should have done was added some tape. All right, so let me go back to the table. I'm going to put some tape. I'm going to put some tape, clear tape, going across, because once that heat hits that adhesive, like I said, it releases it, and you don't want your ribbon to start rattling, coming apart, because you're so close up to this heat press. Sometimes I don't like to use the tapes, because depending on the tape you're using, it'll show through your item. So let's hope this is not one of the cases here. I'm just gonna kind of tape that part down just so it don't be flapping, but I know not to press this over again. Okay, so let's go back to the heat press and try this again. I'm going to continue to the part that I've already started. And I think how I'm going to continue to press this is this way. That way I can just continue to feed it forward. It's going to take more presses, but I think right at this point, this is going to be the quickest way. Also, remember, be aware of the paper you're using, because as you can tell right up in here, it has some ink from the first press, so you want to make sure you cut that, because that ink will get onto your heat press, or it will get onto the material that you're subbing. So cut that away. And then I'm not going to cover the whole board with it, because I'm going to make use out of this paper. And I am going to press only for 45 seconds. All right, so that is the last press. And look how pretty that is. All right, let's go ahead to the table, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to actually use this here memorial ribbon. All right, now let's go ahead and see what we have. And let's see if that tape going across did anything. And no. So this is clear tape. That is normally my tape of choice when doing sublimation, because if not, we probably would have had some yellow staining there. But there's no staining from the tape. And then you cannot see where we applied the tape to the ribbon. All right, so let's finish taking it apart. All right, y'all, so I really want to put this on this lavender ribbon, polypropylene ribbon, but unfortunately I do not have enough ribbon to even complete this task. So I don't know if I should really try it or not, but I am going to start. And before I get started, we want to make sure that we, for one, trim off that jagged edge. And to keep these edges from fraying some more, I am gonna burn the ends so it do not come back apart, start fraying some more. I'm gonna do that to the other side as well. The other side already have a nice crisp cut, so I'm not gonna worry about trying to fray that anymore. Okay. So basically with this little piece here, I'm just gonna do a little small bow by itself. And as I thought, this here bow is not going to be enough to do nothing with. So what I probably wind up doing in this is just fraying this bow. So what I probably what I mean by fraying a bow is basically, and it's my term, so don't go looking up. I just come up with make words that I think best suits whatever I'm trying to say. But basically all I'm doing is cutting this, splitting this bow in the center. And don't go too far down because then you might break it, tear it completely off the bow. All right. And that is how I fray my bows. All right, so now that I have my bow frayed, I'm going to start forming my memorial ribbon. And I'm going to start where her image goes top to bottom and not like this, but like this. So I'm basically going to make a small kind of full bow by overlapping the loops. So I make one loop and then I try to make another loop the same size as the other end. I'm going to loop it again till I am complete with the ribbon. And I'm not doing a tight loop, it's really loose. All right, so that's the end of our ribbon. So right now, I'm just gonna take this little small piece of ribbon that popped off earlier from while I was fraying the bow, and I'm gonna use that to kind of attach to this bow. And I'm gonna fold that bow in half. I'm not gonna worry about that tail, so you just wanna make sure it's folded in half where the loops are. And I actually have the wrong pair of scissors. These are my scissors that I use when doing material, cutting material and fabric. I would guess this would be considered fabric as well, but however, these are not the best scissors for cutting this. I may have to find my titanium scissors and use them, but let's see. Let's try it first. Oh no, see how that just bloop bloop? No Dollar Tree scissors, y'all. All right, so I went and grabbed my titanium scissors and I am going to cut like a, more like a, I want to say maybe a upside down V shape. So I'm cutting at an angle on that end. Then I'm gonna cut at another angle on the other end. Make sure I grab my tails. I had one piece to come apart. You want to make sure you keep it together, y'all. I did grab my purple ribbon when I went to go get these scissors, so I'm just going to cut that. And I'm going to get a piece from this ribbon to tie this here ribbon together, if I can keep it together. And I still missed a piece, so let's see if I can connect this back into there. Yeah, you want to make sure that you keep all your ribbons together. And I did not do a very good job at that. I'm just going to tie it in. All right, so I should have all my loops tied together, and now I'm just going to basically pull it apart. I only did this here ribbon at about, I want to say maybe 94 inches, so it's not going to be that thick. So if you want your ribbon to be thick, you're going to have to print more, okay? And you can also use the Grosgrain. I'm probably not saying that right. Like I said, I do make up words, but you can probably use that ribbon as well. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this here ribbon into this here ribbon. And I'm going to do that by making sure I split the tail, find the center of this one. And do it like that. All right, so there you have it. And the only reason why I used this little piece of ribbon here is because basically that was literally all I had on that roll. Like that was the only ribbon that I had left, because I used it for another project, but I'm glad I was able to get at least this much from it. And this is going to be the polyester satin ribbon. All right, did we even do this side? Let's make sure we get all sides. All right. All right, so let me show you why I put together this here custom memorial bow. All right, y'all, so here I have made for one of my most loyal customers a memorial type floral cross with lights. Her sister just passed away recently, and the reason why we're doing purple is because that's the color for lupus. So it's more designed in memory of her and for those who have passed from lupus. So basically the reason why I designed this here bow, which I did not have all the supplies and materials that I wish I could have to make it full, but it was so last minute to where, you know, I was only able to use what I had. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this here bow right, and I wrap the bow right where I glued the ribbon together. So basically you want to make sure you hide that. I'm going to flip it over because I am going to Let's see. I done lost the tail. Let me find the tail. As soon as I grab, okay, I have the tail here. So I'm just basically going to stick it here. And I'm going to just wrap it around these here, the frame, so that if it do come apart, at least I have some type of backup, but it shouldn't come apart. I'm going to just turn it around in the front and make sure I'm in the center before actually tying it. And I want to make sure that it's tight. All right, y'all, so I got to kind of look at it my way because I do not want this flopping off. I want to make sure that this is nice and tight. Okay. This is what it looks like. So that's with the lights flashing. This slow flashing, and then that's solid. All right, so basically what I did was cut out some letters using some vinyl, and it's not that much weeding to do because I did join the letters together. So basically I made the first a peel and cut, and the reason why I'm doing it this way is because it is hard to try to do the transfer tape to stick on the ribbon itself because it's such a slick and smooth surface. So basically what I'm doing is I'm gonna do this here first. Let's see if you can see it. You want to make sure that it's nice, even, and straight. And then I'm going to do the date. And let's make sure my tails are going correct on this other end. And I did leave some room on the tails because I am going to kind of cut it at an angle. Here I just put the year of birth, and I do have a piece look like I need to weed out. So I put the year of birth and the year of date only on this part. And once again, I'm just sticking it directly on the tail. Make sure you're centered. All right, now let me get my joining letters. All right, so for this part, being that the letters are not together, they are individual, I went on and taped it. So this would be, this is not even an actual transparent, the transfer tape that I use. I wound up having some other kind of stuff. But so let's see if this works. Go ahead, line it up. Okay, y'all, since I done already kind of put it down, I'm just gonna go through it with it. I don't want to mess it up. Yeah, so, and then basically I want to just peel it off. And you want to, and as I'm about to talk, you want to make sure you do this slow, because if you find any of your letters lifting, just pull it back down, rub it so it can attach to that other vinyl, and go slowly and peel it. And if you have to hold that particular letter or numbers because you see you having problems with it, just kind of hold it as well. All right, so now I'm going to do the other side the same way. When you're peeling it, you want to make sure that you're connecting, like all your pieces is on that transfer tape. All right, if you see that it's not lifting with the tape, just press back, put it back down and kind of press against the tape with that letter or number so that it can stick. All right, and I'm gonna try to make sure I put this one here right the first time. And like right now, I got, as I'm lifting up, I got part of the white underneath layer trying to lift as well, so be careful of that. And basically just pull on it slowly, and I'm holding it as I'm pulling. All right, and there you have it. This is how you can customize the bottom of your ribbon. So if you decide to do this right now, it's kind of at an angle, so I like to, let's see what side I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna cut this one here at an angle. And then I'm gonna cut this one this way at an angle. All right. And it kind of looked like my tails are uneven. Make sure your tails are even, y'all. I forgot to even cut the tails. But hopefully when they're far apart, you're really not going to notice it. It's not that uneven, but if you actually going to stare at it, you might kind of notice it. I'm just going to cut it a little bit more at an angle to try to get it the same width as that one. All right, y'all, so if you have a particular place where you want like a ribbon, a piece of the ribbon to be displayed, I did heat up my glue gun. So basically I'm just gonna put a tab, be very careful, it's hot, and kind of sit it. I might have went too far down. I'm gonna try to put a piece here to connect to this here part. Put this piece here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna lift this piece off, and I'm gonna put that tail, that extra, remember that extra tail we had hanging? Let's move this up some. So I'm gonna put that, I'm gonna actually put that extra tail right up in there. Okay. Kind of flip this to the side because you want your custom bow to kind of be seen at every angle.